So lesson 8 deals with HTML5 forms. And forms are used all over the web. So once we get into server-side coding, where we're updating a database, uh, almost, I would say, every single update page has a form. So this is something that you are going to be using a lot. So there are a range of pages in the book that you need to review. And then you definitely need to go through the lecture demo because this has got additional information that the book does not have. And there are videos embedded in here. So the first video kind of goes through how forms work. And these are actual form elements that you can kind of play with here. Then we go through the form tag. And we talk about grouping different elements and then all the different types of input tags. Input is by far the most common. And you can see that these are interactive. And I tried to show you the interactive element and then the code that was used to produce it. Okay, so this is the code and this is the interactive element. Specifically, we go through the new HTML5 types, number, email, for telephone, URL, color, date, and range. These new types actually have some editing that they can do on their own to take some of the burden off of JavaScript and those front end languages that tend to do a majority of the editing. So HTML5 has taken on some of that. And these are just interactive boxes that show you how these different elements work. So for range here, we have a slider. So I would encourage you to kind of play with those as you're reading through. We talk about the different kinds of buttons, and then we get into lists. So we have data lists, we have comments, we have selection lists. Okay, we have a tab index attribute, which affects the order that you go to entry boxes when you press tab. And then we talk about simple validation. Most validation is done in languages like JavaScript or jQuery, and that would be client-side processing. It can also be done on the server side by languages like PHP or Python. Once you finish the lecture demo, you're going to do the textbook assignment, which basically is going to walk you through creating a form. And so it is a lot of typing. I am giving you the web document, but it doesn't have all of this form stuff in here. So it's a lot of typing. The good news is once you get done creating this thing, you can actually copy and paste for any other form that you are going to use. Okay, because it's a matter of copying, pasting, and then changing a couple things. So this is what it's going to look like when it's done. And then after you create the one form, I have you save it under a different name and change the form tag so that it becomes a form that is emailed. Okay, so the only change you have to make to this second file is changing the form tag so that it goes through email. Okay, and that's the entire assignment. And then for the lab assignment, you're going to be creating your own form. And I did do an example for you that you can take a look at. This has all of the required elements in it. And so what you need to have in your form is exactly what I have listed. Now, you do want to make sure that your form elements are aligned properly, and that is typically done with CSS and the box model that we learned a couple weeks ago. Once your form is complete, you're going to view it offline, make sure it works, and then you're going to transfer it to the web. Once your assignment is done, you can just enter done in the Dropbox. And at that point, then you will be ready to go into the discussion forum and you need to post a link to your form. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. See, here's my form. So this was a student preferences survey. Here is a link. And now I'm going to answer the questions. And I think I'll just probably copy them. Whoops, I lost my link. Try that again. And actually, I got to create a real link. Go in here and actually create a clickable link. So who's the audience? So let's take a look. I would say current and potential students. What is the purpose? Oh, to find out information about degrees and class meeting time. Oop. How did you decide on the design and layout? Why did you group elements together? Why did you select the color scheme or the graphics? So I basically grouped logical areas together. I mean, address information and then their age and the degree. To me, it makes sense to group that information, and class and credits kind of go together, and then comments by itself. So I grouped the information, what I was asking, and what logically fit together, like address information, age and degree, class, day and times with credits. And why do we select the color scheme or the graphics? So greens are supposed to symbolize things that are fresh and new. And so I thought that would be kind of a good color for new or returning students. So that is the type of thing that you need to post. Then you're going to review other students' posts and reply to at least one by indicating what you liked about their form. And that is what we have planned for this week. If you run into problems or if you have questions, please let me know and have a great week.